While seasons of TV traditionally air over the span of several months, subsequent episodes will typically take place only a few days apart, if that. But of course, TV episodes today aren't shot a few days apart. Hell, a single episode of a big-budget, glossy HBO show can take weeks to film, not to ignore the many months of time between shooting a season's finale and the next season's premiere. As a result, sometimes an actor has gone through such a stark change in physical appearance that no amount of clever makeup could possibly conceal it. I'm Josh from WhatCulture.com, and these are 8 times TV shows failed to hide the passage of time. Number 8. Steve Carell made Michael Scott buff out of nowhere. The Office US. If you go back and watch the first 2 seasons of The Office, you might be surprised by Dunder Mifflin boss Michael Scott's sudden change in appearance. Throughout season 1, Michael was intentionally styled to look like the UK show's David Brent, with his hair even being slicked back to resemble Ricky Gervais's hairstyle from the original UK version of the show. Suddenly, in the season 2 premiere though, Michael is markedly buffer and his hair is now styled in a different, certainly more appealing way. The reason for this? Well, between filming the 2 seasons, Steve Carell went off to shoot the Judd Apatow film The 40-Year-Old Virgin, where he decided to hit the gym and get into shape, and the actor ultimately decided to maintain that physique when he got back to the set for The Office. But given that the show's official timeline makes it clear that there are only days or weeks at most between the season 1 finale and season 2 premiere, it doesn't make any sense at all that Scott's appearance would change so drastically. And yet, the glow up was ultimately a positive one for both Scott and Carell, such that most fans were happy to just roll with it. Number 7. Nancy Marchand died between seasons and was replaced with a terrible CGI double, The Sopranos. Between filming the 2nd and 3rd seasons of The Sopranos, actress Nancy Marchand, who played Tony Soprano's mother Livia, died in real life. This forced creator David Chase to abandon a planned season 3 plot where Livia would testify against her son, but rather than simply have Livia die off screen, the decision was made to create a final scene between mother and son with the help of then primitive CGI technology. So in season 3's 2nd episode, unused takes of the actress from previous episodes were combined with VFX replacements to create a double of Livia, an unfortunately unconvincing one which was wildly mocked by fans even at the time of the episode's release. While it's easy to appreciate Chase's intent here to give Livia a fitting send-off worthy of the character, ultimately his attempts to fight the wheels of time and deny the actor's death just proved intensely distracting. As a result, the terrible CGI doubling is by far the most memorable aspect of an episode that should have been a powerful exploration of Tony's conflicted grief. Number 6. Matthew Perry's engagement episodes were clearly shot months apart. Friends. It's no secret at all that Friends star Matthew Perry fought drug addiction while shooting the sitcom's later seasons, which led to him physically looking quite different between episodes, particularly during the show's 7th season where he also suffered from pancreatitis. It's not really worth writing home about in the show itself. I mean, people put on and then lose weight and change their appearance all the time, but Perry's appearance change is a bit jarring when watching the season 6 finale and season 7 premiere back to back, considering that season 6 ends with Chandler's engagement and season 7 begins with the celebration of it. We know for a fact that the episodes are supposed to take days apart at most, and yet of course they were clearly shot many months apart, and Perry and the rest of the cast look just different enough to make that fact quite obvious. Number 5. Portia de Rossi's changed appearance ruined the continuity. Arrested Development. There was a massive 7-year gap between the 3rd and 4th seasons of Arrested Development, and when season 4 finally premiered on Netflix, many fans noted the significantly different appearance of most of the cast, especially Lindsay Bluth actress Portia de Rossi. Many speculated that de Rossi had undergone plastic surgery or received Botox prior to shooting, which, honestly, the specifics of which don't matter. We're not here to judge or anything like that. You do you, Portia. In fact, this change in appearance wouldn't have been that notable at all if season 4 wasn't incredibly flashback heavy, placing the cast at a point in the story immediately after the season 3 finale. The end of season 3 and the start of 4 take place just minutes apart, and one look at the cast makes it clear that 7 real-life years have passed in just a couple of minutes. Bad wigs didn't help either, and it kind of feels like there should have been more meta jokes to excuse the real-life time jump. It kind of works under that lens, but there should have been way more, and it should have been lent into way more. Number 4. Michael Rosenbaum wore an unconvincing bald cap for his series finale appearance, Smallville. For Smallville's series finale, the showrunners wanted to get back as many pivotal legacy characters as possible, including Lex Luthor, who was played so brilliantly throughout the show by Michael Rosenbaum. However, the actor left Smallville at the end of its 7th season, and so when he was called back 3 years later to shoot his scenes for the series finale, he wasn't much interested in shaving his head as he had done for his original tenure on the show. The actor, having long since moved on from Smallville, opted to have a bald cap over his head instead, given that growing his hair back would take a prohibitive 4 months. Now this might seem like an easy enough fix in theory, but ultimately the results were easily noticed by fans. While it's far from the worst fake bald head you'll ever see, when you've seen an actor be legit bald for literally hundreds of episodes by this point, a bald cap becomes infinitely easier to spot. I mean, just look at Bryan Cranston in El Camino. That's a great movie, but that's a weird scene. In the series finale, Lex has a distinctive, egghead look, I guess, if we're being blunt, whereby his bald noggin simply looks too large and layered compared to his real-life bald head in the first 7 seasons. The producers made a fair attempt to hide it by shooting most of his scenes in low light, but there are many moments where it's startlingly clear that we're looking at a man whose hair is being compressed underneath a layer of fake skin. Number 3, most actresses were filmed in soft focus to make them look younger. Star Trek: The Original Series. The original Star Trek series boasted one rather infamous stylistic trick to try and deny the passage of time, and that was shooting most of its actresses, whether leads or day players, through extremely soft focus. This was a common technique in 1960s television, and was typically deployed to quote-unquote soften a woman's appearance, making the natural lines in their face less visible and basically implying that they're younger than they actually are. It's extremely gross, innit? Watching the original series today, it's laughable how often the stylistic trope is used, especially during close-ups of any attractive woman. For a show so thoroughly centered around progressive politics, making such a concerted and transparent effort to fight the quote-unquote ravages of time paradoxically seems rather regressive. While Hollywood still has a troubling attitude towards depicting naturally aging women today, literally slathering the camera lens in Vaseline to conceal a few lines and wrinkles is hilariously desperate and surely much more noticeable than just presenting them as they are in regular focus. Number 2, Paul Giamatti changed his whole look in between episodes due to pandemic delays. Billions. Production on Billions' 5th season was shut down for roughly 6 months due to the pandemic, but rather than delay the entire season, Showtime decided to air the first 7 completed episodes of the season regardless. As a result, there was a near 3-month gap before the remainder of the season aired, and when the show resumed, many fans expressed concern over the health of actor Paul Giamatti, who plays Chuck Rhoades on the show. From the 8th episode onwards, Giamatti had noticeably grey hair, had shed his iconic goatee, and was significantly slimmer, prompting some to fear that the actor had fallen ill during the production shutdown. Thankfully, that wasn't the case at all, and Giamatti had simply lost some weight and had a shave during the 6-ish months between filming. Amusingly though, the show did make a half-arsed attempt to address this by having Rhodes' lackey Carl Allard comment, quote, "You look ready to toss your cap up in the air at West Point," to which Rhodes tellingly replied, "Don't make a whole thing of it." Number 1, Shannon Doherty's sour relationship with the producers led to a distracting body double, Charmed. And finally, we have Charmed, which saw producers put in a tough spot anytime they wanted to visually reference departed sister Prue, who was killed off and exited the show at the end of season 3, per actress Shannon Doherty's wishes. Doherty's time on the show was marred by infighting with both her co-stars and producers, and these relationships seemingly didn't much improve in subsequent years following the actress's departure. Consequently, the season 5 episode Cat House was designed as a surreal, self-aware take on the clip show format, as a spell is cast which sends Phoebe and Paige back in time to experience Piper's memories. This includes reliving Piper's wedding from season 3, but because the production couldn't come to an agreement with Doherty to reuse clips of her from the original episode, the decision was made to replace her with a stand-in instead. As such, Prue makes a rather awkward, fleeting appearance on the back of a motorcycle where her face is never visible, and the episode otherwise only features material from the season 3 episode where she was, conveniently enough, turned into a dog. In the end, this is actually a lot more distracting than just not featuring Prue at all though, because it's impossible not to think of all those behind-the-scenes squabbles anytime Prue's face is very intentionally concealed from view. Sometimes it's just better to embrace the way things are and move on, as failing to accept that Doherty's relationship with the production had soured over the years and trying to impress that she was still sticking around invited well-earned derision from fans.